Hello, welcome to an edition of Banter by the Blender. Today we're going to talk about productivity and recreation, as well as what schedule is most optimized for creation. First of all, the human body and our experience in life is amazingly flexible. We can create so many different types of lives to live with different routines and different styles. We have the ability to stay up all night and cram on something and create something amazing that will be ready for the next day. But you also have to take into account when you do that, that the next day or two, sometimes even 3 days, are going to be affected negatively. So the first point I want to bring up about all this is the most productive life is one where you set up a routine and a schedule that works for you. So this idea of getting up super early to get a head start with things can dramatically negatively affect later in the day, which is what I experienced yesterday and also why I would like to talk about this topic. I found that if I have my schedule and I stick to it, I do really good for hours of work during a week. So over the course of a week, my most productive weeks are ones in which I stick to my schedule of getting up between 7 and 8 o'clock, exercising between 8 and 9, preparing for my day between 9 and 10, and then starting work at 10 a.m. That schedule is great for me because it has a lot of wiggle room, a lot of time in there to get caught up in whatever needs to get taken care of in the morning, as well as it includes the time for the exercise and posture alignment, which is really important for me because of sitting in front of the computer for long periods of time. If I need to get something done and I stay up late or I get up super early to do it, that's okay. Sometimes that's what it's about. You got to get things done and there are deadlines, and I'm all for that. Some projects I've created would never have been created if I didn't push that extra mile and get it finished within the time that it needed to get done. But for the most part, sticking to the schedule is the way to go. Now, on a day-to-day basis, you still bump up against procrastination and distractions and delays, and also temptations for more fun activities. Because when you're really in the creation process of making something or producing something of value, it can be daunting. It can be a decent amount of work, and not all of that work is going to be smooth or easy. So an important part of this is to balance recreation and productivity on a day-to-day basis. This idea that when the day starts, when you set your start time, you're doing productive stuff, at least for an hour or two. When you've completed something productive that has value and it means something, you then have built up time for recreation. Now you can choose what that recreation can be. It can be hike in nature, it can be virtual reality or a video game, it can be watching a show. But these have to be balanced. You can't wake up in the morning and go straight to recreation. The problem with that is it throws the balance off. Now that you've finished the recreation, there's nothing you can move to from there. You've taken the reward without producing anything, and it short circuits your whole system, and there's no way to get out of it other than to just stop and reset. So that does bring up into this idea that you're going to run into times in which things are just not right. Either you're stuck in procrastination, or you're binge watching a show, or something's off, and you just do not feel like producing or cannot get the things done you want to do, just avoiding it like it's an alien from another planet. So the tool that you always have in your sleeve is you can always just stop. Just stop, sit on the couch, or go into your room and lay down on the bed and just stop. When you do that, just let your thoughts kind of like drift wherever they need to go, and then when you get this quiet moment in your mind, you say to yourself what you want, what you need to do, what's going to happen. And if you need to take a nap, that's totally reasonable. Acknowledge that your body has this rhythmical cycles. So sometimes you got the energy, you got the focus, you got the drive, and you're ready, and you think you can go 100 miles on that type of energy. But you have to acknowledge that that energy is going to come to a down moment where you're just not going to feel like doing anything. And the human body has this natural cycle of 90 minutes where it does have this ultradian rhythm, and just by acknowledging that, you can just stop. It's a time where you're vulnerable to procrastination and distraction, so instead of indulging in that, which is fine sometimes for the recreational balance, just acknowledge that you're extremely susceptible and weak in that time. And what you really, really need is to rest. Just lay down, sit with your eyes closed, let your body regenerate. It can't take constant stimulation, especially when you're caught in like a recreational cycle where you're just absorbing entertaining or funny information. It's really important to give your mind a break. And so learning how to do that is important. The highest version of that is meditation, when you can sit in a space with your and completely relax your mind. It regenerates you so that you can be extremely productive and focused afterwards. That's why it's so valuable. But don't set the bar so high that you think you need to meditate, because when you're low energy, you really can't set up any expectations to do anything. So that's why just stopping is the best way to look at it. Just take a break. And speaking of taking a break, now's the ideal for me to take a break from this video.